Welcome everybody to your favorite compas are back over with the latest NFL news. After the first wave of free agency, we will get into the Chargers cutting Mike Williams and trading Keenan Allen with our grand guest Hayley Elwood, Charger reporter and NFL Super Bowl and draft host. Then Vic, the producer, will join us for some rapid fire. All right, Gilbert, don't you have an engagement question for our viewers and or listeners?
Yes, I do, Fernando. But that intro song, I feel like I'm playing the drums and I'm trying to grow my hair out to be a rock star. And I don't know if I'm feeling it on a Monday afternoon or late afternoon here on the West Coast. But the engagement question of the week. And it's been 1 week of NFL free agency after the first wave, right? Get your boogie boards out or surfboards, whatever you want to call them. But the simple question, Fernando, I think I had a question here. Let me pull it up. There it goes. Who improved the most in NFL free agency? A lot of people are talking about the Houston Texans, maybe the Chicago Bears, where Keenan Allen, should I say Keenan Allen? Maybe the Titans, Calvin Ridley. I don't know. People might not like them.
Hey,
The
the
Commanders,
Jets offensive line.
the Jets O line. So let me know in the comments of this live Lunes live here on Compas on the Beat, which team improved the most after the first wave of NFL free agency.
Yeah, no, I have a couple, but I mean, we all know Super Bowls aren't won in March; they're
There you
won
go.
later. But obviously, a lot of excitement, a lot of moving pieces. I think I say this every year, but I feel like for some reason this year, with the improved cap situation and everything, I feel like there's been a lot more movement than we have seen in years past. A lot of excitement, but Nick, you're completely right. Houston's roster is scary. Imagine if they would have added Keenan Allen, that would have been
I know they were
crazy
trying to get
to
him for a
see.
third round pick, which maybe
A-
would have made people a little happier in LA.
Antonio Brown, the CTESPN
I can't even pronounce
report.
it, but I get what he's doing
I
there.
know, I know.
ESPN.
He reported that to Stephon Diggs, the name to watch to go to
Who?
Houston. So
Oh, I was gonna say
I know.
Chargers. Okay.
No, to Houston. I thought that was so. No, I don't think they would do that. But all right. But real quick, obviously, Gilbert, we did something new last week. Why don't you go ahead and tell the good folks a little bit about it?
Yeah, so we started the Compas on the Beat newsletter a week ago, and shout out to the people who already joined. That was awesome to see everybody subscribing. But to subscribe to the newsletter, go to compasonthebeat.com. If you are on a laptop, where's Fernando going? If you are on a laptop, scroll the middle of the home screen. You'll see a gold shiny box appear. Put your email there. Subscribe. If you're on your iPhone or tablet, similar, go to compasonthebeat.com. Go to the middle of the home screen. You'll see the gold shiny box. Put in your email right there, and we did the newsletter last week, and it was quite an experience. A lot of learning lessons for me to try to figure it out. But you got to hear from Fernando, Dan, and Victor, and even myself. People don't care about hearing from me; they want to hear from Dan and Dago, who might not make an appearance today. I don't know, but anyways, subscribe to the Compas on the Beat newsletter. Go to compasonthebeat.com. Stop it! You're gonna scare me again. Or go to the description of the video and follow the link compasonthebeat.com. And also, audio people do the same. I know we always forget about the audio, but we appreciate you listening to the Compas on the Beat on your drive. Is that
Jorge
okay,
said not
Tomo?
true. He likes hearing from you.
Oh,
So there
thank
you
you,
go.
Jorge. And Jorge, sometimes I feel like you're against me, but you do a good job of being supportive for all four Compas on the channel.
You know what's crazy? I feel bad because I just kind of hit the music, and Jorge must have gotten excited, and he's like, "Where's he at?" And unfortunately, he's at football practice right now, so he won't be going. But we'll answer any and all questions. So make sure you guys keep on going with them. I mean, I guess we'll give you guys real quick. I know a lot of Charger fans are obviously in here, so we'll talk really quick about that. We're gonna get more into that with Hayley Elwood, but Kay says, I like the new signings, filling a lot of needs with cheap signings that don't mess with comp picks. That's the new hot topic, comp picks. Everybody's excited
Fernando, you might
about
know this.
that stuff. But
Is Kay a Chargers fan?
yes,
Okay. Well, they
yeah,
added
yeah,
a
yeah,
center today, Bradley Bozeman. I
yeah.
don't know how you feel about that, but that's a
Well,
new
he's
center.
from Dan was watching some of his film, I guess, during work, and he's like, I like him. He's from Alabama, so Nick Saban, hard nose. He was
Yeah.
with Baltimore. You know how tough they are. He went to Carolina, and then obviously they but they obviously ended up moving on from him.
He had a
So
good season, Fernando, in 22, and they brought him back to re-sign him. I think a 1-year extension to protect Bryce Young. It just didn't
yep.
go well. That could be on coaching. I don't know. So maybe the Chargers found something in him.
And I mean, he was with the Baltimore Ravens, so they know
Yeah, that
him.
too.
They've been with him before, so it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens there. But then obviously, Mimsy is saying about she says, "What's up? What's up?"
What's up?
Denzel Perryman, Gilbert, he makes his return to the
Yeah.
Chargers. It's been a while since Denzel Perryman was here.
Yeah.
He went obviously to God, was it Carolina? Then they traded him to the Raiders, and then he was with Houston. I
Houston
believe.
Raiders. I want to say Miami, Fernando. I could be wrong. But get ready for those social media videos of
Yeah, Carolina
Gatorade.
Panthers.
Yeah.
Then he went to the Las Vegas Raiders for 2 years. He didn't even. I think before. I'm just looking it up right now. I think right before, Carolina Panthers. He signed a 2-year contract with Carolina, but then right before the season, right before cuts, he was traded to the Raiders. So he wasn't in
Oh
Carolina all
yeah,
that
you're
long.
right. I totally forgot
But
about
I
that.
mean, we all know he's a thumper, great guy in the locker room. People loved him. A lot of people were sad when he left. But Perryman's he's a good guy, so it'll be interesting. Like I said, he's a thumper, so it'll be interesting to see him back here. Angel says, good job, mijos. Angel, appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Gracias, compa.
Yeah, Jorge was not happy about me hitting the music like he was here. Jorge, we're gonna try and yes, this is live on YouTube. Make sure you guys go check it out. Compas on the beat, subscribe, all that. So we appreciate you guys for Hayley Elwood just tweeted at me. She goes, "Oh man, no pressure live."
Oh, okay. You didn't give her the warning. You didn't say we're on live.
Oh
Come on,
yeah, I forgot. That's my bad. So,
and
but hey,
also to listen to feedback. Somebody was saying on the comments that we need to do a better job reading the comments out loud. So let's start doing that a little better.
Oh yeah. I did see that. Yeah. We're gonna be better at that. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So I'll read them out
Get
loud.
Too excited seeing the comments.
Jorge says, "Oh, and I don't have favorites. I love all my compas." Jorge, we appreciate that.
Jorge Rodriguez says, "Give the phone name if you want." Sorry,
okay, my bad.
I'm being demanding.
AMS, do you think AD will play in the future? AD? Are we talking about Aaron Donald?
Were you thinking about Love Is Blind? AD. Sorry, Hayley will be on to talk about Love Is Blind. But yes, Aaron Donald is probably the correct answer.
He was with Desmond King. Yeah, Angel. Yeah, he was with Desmond King on there. I'm happy Perryman is back. Angel says also. So yeah, a lot of fans are definitely excited about that. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, the Gatorade. I remember that from social media.
Stay hydrated. I remember that. I actually. Oh, I'll try and find. No. I don't want to find it. It's an old video. I was doing something for NBC7 on camera, and Perryman was walking by, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, like what?" And then I just start chatting with him and stuff, and it was actually a pretty funny video. But we don't have to get on there. Oh, there's Hayley.
Yeah.
Hayley,
hello.
We'll see you in a little
bit. No pressure. It's okay.
No. We love Hayley though. She's awesome. It's a tradition unlike any other. So we're excited about.
I gotta ask Hayley about Jeremy, Sarah Ann, and was it?
You're still on that Love Is Blind shit. That's funny as hell.
Last week, and I got to talk about it.
Gilbert K says the whole Carolina team stinks besides Thielen. Maybe a player here or there was fine, but not a lot of them. Yeah, no, you're definitely right.
Maybe Bozeman in a better situation does better because honestly, that was a big deal last year when the Panthers kept the entire starting line intact for Bryce Young, and it just went pure pa. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, Jorge. Yes, Hayley will be on live. He asked, "Is Hayley going to be live?" Yes, she is.
About 15
you guys
minutes.
Can ask questions or anything. But Hugh says, "Sucks to see Keenan go, but it's a business, man." Yeah, no, it is. Gilbert, AMS is asking, "Do the Rams receive compensation if another team talks AD into playing?"
Yeah, so he is still kind of, committed, or not committed, but he signed to the Rams on the roster for 2024. That's why they restructured the deal to get some cap space, and I'm sure they talked about it. It's like, hey, your money's coming, AD, and regardless if you retire or not, but can we make your money into a signing bonus? So that was kind of the deal for the restructuring the contract. But if he does come back and and he creates some kind of leverage, because Aaron Donald was set to make 35 million, maybe a little under 40 million. So if somebody offers, hey, from like the Steelers, we want to give you $45 million, Aaron Donald, that's a lot of money for somebody, at 32 years old, but that is Aaron Donald. Then yeah, maybe you do like a trade thing, and I don't know if it would be anything expensive, or maybe like I don't know, maybe third, fourth round pick. Because also you're going to pay that much money for Aaron Donald. Like if you're saying the Steelers, you don't want to give up a second round, a third round pick. But
I'd be surprised if he came back and went anywhere
yeah, he
else.
seems a guy who's content, right?
Yeah, no, he and a guy like AD doesn't post what he posted and the whole long message, all that stuff to just come back. By the way, Josina Anderson, real quick before we get back into the AD,
Okay,
I'm
what we
told
got?
wide receiver Mike Williams is currently scheduled to meet with the Steelers on Thursday per source. So
Hey,
Mike Williams is making the rounds. I think he visited on Monday the Jets.
the Panthers and the Jets were on the list. I know that.
Yeah.
And I kept saying the Panthers last week because he will definitely help out a young quarterback. But if he goes to Steelers and plays, I don't know, Fields or Russell Wilson, it depends on the quarterback. That'd be nice. George Pickens and Mike Williams. I like that dude.
My bad. Jets are looking forward to meting with Williams on Tuesday. So the Jets are meeting with him tomorrow.
Yeah.
But with all the moves that the Jets have made, I think that's the team that everybody should be on the lookout because.
Do you want to go to New York? They never usually get it right. I said never
No,
usually. I don't know.
No, I know, but Adam Schefter keeps on saying that the Chargers are still in, like they still want to bring him back. Like everybody else is kind of tweeting where Mike is going, but Adam stays on like, oh, the Chargers are interested in bringing him back. So maybe he does the carousel a little bit and then says, okay, you know what? Let's go. Let's see what we're going to do. But that's pretty interesting to say the least. Going back to the Aaron Donald thing, I just don't think a guy like that does what he did to then just come back or do anything like that. So I think he's done incredible career. I mean, you saw how even in that Super Bowl, Gilbert, you and I were both there. We saw how much it took from, I mean, Cincinnati's offensive line was already banged up and it was bad, but AD really just exposed it, especially at the end of the game. And you remember he took off his helmet and he points at the finger like, give me my ring, kind of like Debo, not Debo Samuel. I mean, Debo from
And remember
Friday.
that Jamar, sorry, I interrupted your joke there, but Jamar Chase was open on that play and he interrupted it and he got in. Yeah.
Like who said it? Wide ass open. So,
somebody said it.
He literally, it was what's the name from the Bucks? Bruce Arians. Remember he was on Fox.
Oh yeah,
he
was
wide ass open.
Yeah.
So
if Aaron Donald was not in Joe Burrow's face, imagine what could have happened in the Super Bowl. So to go off your point, Fernando, like what else do you want in a career? You were known for being the best defensive player in your generation, made the best defensive tackle of all time. You got the Super Bowl ring, you got the money, you got the accolades, and you also won a Super Bowl. You carried the team on that final drive. Like it's perfect. So he played a little longer, and then he got to enjoy that last year where a bunch of young guys. He went from being the star guy to being kind of the mentor leader, and they won. He left the team in good shape. So honestly, if you would have left after the Super Bowl, that's probably been the best of the best for leaving. But to leave the team in good shape, also pretty good.
I'm interested to see what's going to end up happening with like in the NFL. We never see like, oh, this is my last dance, I'm going to retire after this year. Like in the NFL, you never see that. It's only a lot
of pressure, man.
Yeah, it's like in the NBA, oh, you have 82 games, this kind of be it, like stuff like that. And the NFL is just such a short season that it's like, okay, boom, 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 boom. And then, all right, I'm going to retire after the year. So definitely interesting to see that. Delbert Salgado says credit to the Rams to keep the retirement hush.
And I mean, that's Aaron Donald, right? He doesn't like to talk. He doesn't talk. Yeah. I'm guessing he doesn't have an insider on his phone. He hits up every now and then. I don't think, at least
I just thought it was funny. So on Friday when the news came down, Eric Williams, our good compa from Fox Sports, Gilbert and I were at the UCLA Pro Day. By the way, Steph Curry was there, Chris Paul, Johnny Manziel, Antonio Pierce. Yeah, all the way over there. We couldn't even see it.
We were all there to see Leite Latu. Did I get it right?
Exactly. Yeah, you did. We were all just in a little corner while all those guys were just walking around. No big deal, I guess. The USC Pro Days ain't going to be interesting to see who's there, how many people. I bet you Snoop. I wonder if Snoop is going to be there. Like,
yeah, it's going to be
interesting. But when that news popped off, like I remember Gilbert and Eric were like, "You think you'll have a press conference?" And they were like, "Nah, that doesn't seem like AD. I don't think he will."
Yeah, because I'm like, man, I kind of have a busy schedule, but I got to go to this press conference. And then Eric reminded me, like, it's Aaron Donald. You're like, yeah, you're right. He doesn't like to talk that much. So
yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things. Hugh says, "Sucks to see Keenan go, but it's a businessman." He put, "As long as we use our fifth on Neighbors or MHJ, I'm gonna tell you guys one thing. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, Don't be surprised if they take the picks and decide to go 11-23 and trade with Minnesota.
You're changing your tune. I kept telling him that's probably the way. And you're
no,
like,
no, I'm not changing my tune.
Okay.
I'm telling you, like I did ayahuasca over the weekend. Yeah, right. But I just feel like these guys are. I've been telling you, these guys are so unpredictable. Like people are trying to make heads,
especially a new regime.
Exactly. People are trying to make. You can't. There is nobody who's not in that building that knows what is going on. Even if they tell you they do, it's crazy to see what.
Fernando, it all depends if the Patriots fall in love with Jaden Daniels or Drake May. They feel like the third quarterback. They don't like him. Then they could easily move up to number 3. And then what does that create? Or I guess it depends. Like I'm trying to figure out a path for Marvin Harrison Jr. for the Chargers. I don't really see it, but if they move to number 3 and the Chargers stay at number 5,
it depends on the Cardinals. If the Cardinals decide to move out of that 4th spot, if that 11
there could be a mystery team that really, really wants Marvin Harrison Jr. and gives them a boatload of picks. That usually happens for quarterbacks, so that's why I'm a little hesitant.
No, but that's what I meant. Like, what if what if Minnesota offers a first this year, next year, and the year after that, or the 2 first this year, and then maybe 1 next year? And
so you're saying it won't be 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks?
Yeah. Like that could totally happen. I mean, unlikely. Well, who knows? I'm not gonna say not, but like unless like. I don't know.
It's not totally out there, but it could be.
Chris Sims, by the way, what he tweeted out today.
I didn't know
how he sees his receivers. He says Malik Neighbors is number 1, Brian Thomas is number 2. There's a gap. Then Marvin Harrison Jr.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like
he has Brian Thomas at number 2. Like even the Neighbors one's like, oh, okay, sure, whatever, he's good. But Brian Thomas, all right.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up the tweet. But Gilbert, it just it's gonna be interesting. Here it is. I found it. Look at how quickly I am. I'm a freaking son of a gun. But maybe that's because Dan and Dago's my brother. Let me see real quick. Watch this. And in 8 minutes, folks, Hayley Elwood will be joining us. So make sure if you guys have any questions for her, we will try and get to that.
Have us on mute if you want.
Huh?
Have us on mute. I think they want to have us on mute and then have when Hayley comes on the.
Yeah, exactly. Chris Sims, 2024 NFL draft rankings for the gentleman the person that sent me. Look at that. I'm out here. I'm reading everything. Tier 1. Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. Tier 2, no bust, NFL ready. Oh, my bad. Number 1, Tier 1, explosive wide receiver 1, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr.
So does Tier 1 have some kind of bust potential? Because he didn't mention it. He didn't say no.
He didn't say bust.
Okay.
Tier 2,
maybe it's high ceiling he's going off.
Bust is going to be from the teams that draft him, I guess. No bust, NFL ready, Marvin Harrison Jr. Tier 3, high-end skill sets. Romeo Odunze and
Roma Odunze.
Roma Odunze. I saw Roman. I'm thinking of my tribal chief. By the way, Roma Odunze already tweeted at him like one of those emojis where he's like kind of questioning like the move. So I actually thought that was pretty funny.
You almost liked it, Fernando, on that tweet. So
no, hell no, I ain't liking anything. But yeah, what I mean, and obviously we are in weirdo time where there's like nothing going on between now and I
the prefer draft. Weirdo time over smokescreen season, Fernando. So good job on the moniker there.
Well, I mean, and that's what it. I mean, he deleted it already. The tweet. The retweet. I was looking for.
I think there was something he worded kind of differently, and it got lost on the social media team, and people are running with it.
Oh well, whatever.
Because it was a weird. He didn't say. I guess no bust potential on the first tier.
Here we go again. Anyone notice we never see Fernando and Dan and Dago in the same room? Why do you guys? Jorge, you started this. I blame you for this one.
Is it Okie Popping TV? Is that what?
Yeah, but you know what? Okie Popping TV.
Maybe they weren't on the live last week when we had all 4.
What up, Gilberto and Fernando? What's up, man? How you doing? Hey, Jorge, Gilbert did say this last week. As much as I feel for Keenan, this trade was a good move. That's what Gilbert was saying.
You know what? Jorge was not on the live when we had the emergency show.
I know. Jorge, we expected you to be there because Dan was there, and then he's like, where's Jorge at?
A lot of people are pretty angry and upset, and you weren't there to calm them down in the chat, Jorge, so I'm mad at you.
There was like 2 out of like all the fans that kind of attacked us for saying, hey, you know what? This might not be bad. The NFL, Nick says the NFL should teach a class to fans on the salary cap Olympics they go through this time of year. But see, if they did, it wouldn't be a secret. So they don't want you guys to know. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I would take the class every year.
I would take the class. I'll tell you that.
I always forget stuff every single year. I'm like, oh, I remember that, and I forget. And
yeah, exactly.
They change it to every year too.
You guys think Keenan, Jorge says, you guys think Keenan being traded increases the chances at staying at 5 and picking a receiver, or are they still trading down maybe with the Vikings? What would you do? There's so many, every time I say there's so many holes, like I'm always like, dude, chill. But
I would take the wide receiver at number 5 either.
I would too.
If Marvin Harrison somehow is 5 and they have a Dunzi,
Malik Neighbors is too explosive to not like take. And I mean, I know we saw what's the pass rusher?
You see Jorge's comment, bro? Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, I'm kind of scrolling through it. What was the pass rusher's name again?
For
UCLA.
Oh, Leautu Latu.
Leautu. Okay, yeah, that. So I actually like watching. Hey, with the 23rd pick, if he's there and the Chargers had that pick, I would take that guy. That guy's a monster. Like, okay, and then we saw him and everything.
Let's play it out then. So number 11, what would you take? And then number 23, I'm guessing Latu or
Brock
11
Bowers.
Latu? Bowers
11. Bowers at 11. Then I'd get a little bit more, and then yeah. But it doesn't matter what I think, Gilbert, because we have our very special guest. She is here. She is ready to go. Thank you, Vic, the producer. We have Hayley Elwood. Hayley, thank you so much for jumping on with us. Gilbert, nobody wants to see you.
Sorry, I know. Hayley, get me off the screen. Sorry.
Hayley, how are you doing? Thank you so much for jumping on with us.
I'm good. What's up, guys? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
yes.
Loud and clear. Right, cool. Perfect. And Hayley, why are you nervous? I've seen you on the big screen at the Super Bowl many times. So
I didn't know this was live, but like weirdos,
that was my bad.
Man. That's what you guys just brought up. So we'll add to it here. No, happy to be on. Happy to join you. We didn't get to do this at the Super Bowl. That would have been taped. So now we'll just do it live. What's the bill?
Exactly. We'll do it live. Yeah, exactly. It's a yearly tradition that we've had ever since we started this, guys. For any of you guys that just started following us or jumping on with us, Hayley was the first person we interviewed at Radio Row in the LA Super Bowl in 2022. And then first person we interviewed at the Super Bowl in 2023. We were hoping to do it this year. We couldn't, but hey, we still have her on. It's our yearly tradition. It continues. So Hayley, thank you so much again for jumping on with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. No, so happy to join you guys. Like we said, it's a yearly tradition, a tradition unlike any other, as we like to say. And we're just about, a month late, but whatever. Let's do it.
Gilbert?
Yeah, no, I'm ready to ask a question. So I'll go here first, Hayley. And obviously an exciting time for the Chargers, a new coach, a new GM, a lot of new players, a lot of old faces leaving too as well. But let's start with the two, I guess, the shot callers, Jim Harbaugh and Joe Ortiz. How's that been so far to kind of get to know them and also seeing it all play out this offseason, Hayley?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting sort of transition as this team is now going through, because this is the root of it, right? Like this is where their fingerprints are visible on this team and what is going to happen with this team moving forward. And I think, although I haven't really gotten a chance to sit down with those two yet, we'll do some stuff next month, obviously, like, to talk about what happened in free agency and talk about the draft and everything. But in speaking to a lot of the coordinators, basically just the two new ones, obviously Ryan Ficken as well, but the two new coordinators, and getting a sense of what this Jim Harbaugh team is going to be like, there's a lot of cohesion because these are guys that he's known very well. And there's all these familiar ties, right? There's all these Ravens ties. There's these Michigan ties. So there's all this kind of, it's a lot of new faces, but a lot of these new guys know each other. And I think that's going to bode really well in terms of building something and being able to not just kind of pick certain guys and kind of bring maybe some different visions together. Everyone is very clear and has the same vision. And I think you're going to see that on both sides of this team.
So you haven't spoken
Hayley, real quick, before Gilbert goes, Jorge says you're a real one.
Yes.
Thanks, Jorge. Appreciate it.
And Hayley, so you haven't got to talk to Jim Harbaugh then?
Haven't yet.
So what do you expect it's going to be like? Because we all seen the 49er video or the Stanford and obviously at Michigan. He's very animated and, really, I guess, different. We've seen the stories too. A couple of features came out about, I think he got into a nice tub with a full clothes on, and he just seems like a different cat. So I guess, what are you expecting? And have you, caught up on all the stories and things like that?
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm very excited to actually get a chance to sit down and do an interview with him. You know, watching his press conference was a wild ride and so much fun. And so to be able to kind of like sit and get him one-on-one is going to be great. I'll say this, both my parents actually used to work for a local station down in San Diego. They were the CBS affiliate down there behind the scenes. And I was talking to my dad shortly after the Chargers had hired Jim Harbaugh. And he told me years ago when Harbaugh was still playing with the team, he remembered sitting with him at, I think it was like the Chargers blood drive breakfast or something, like a breakfast with the blood drive. And my dad was there and Jim Harbaugh was at his table. And my dad said, I just remember the way he spoke and the way he talked and the way he talked about this team and maybe what was going to happen in the future. He was like, that guy's going to be the coach. And this is not to credit my dad's scouting abilities by any means, but I think this is something we've just, it was like a natural progression for him. And I read Daniel Popper's article where he spoke with so many former Chargers players about what playing with Harbaugh was like. And I just kind of think back to that conversation that my dad had where he said, even years ago, even when he was a player, you could tell that this was sort of his destiny. And I'm just really excited to be able to kind of, like I said, sit down with him and talk to him and really sort of get the vibe now that we're seeing this team sort of come together, right? We started free agency, the draft is next month. We're sort of now getting a little bit of a look at what 2024 is going to be like.
Okay, Hayley, I got it for you. So for that interview, you're going to be wearing khakis, a hat, and a whistle. Like, is that you got to put on khakis at least when you interview him. I think that would be fantastic. I think he'd love that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do think a lot of thought goes into my outfits, but I'll see what I can come up with there.
You know what? Somebody, Mimsy called you a fashionista extraordinaire. So, hey, she's not wrong. So, and a lot of people are showing you love in these comments. So,
Thanks,
so we
appreciate
definitely,
that.
yeah, we all appreciate that. But, so obviously, Greg Roman is known by the NFL world. Jesse Minter is not. Just what did you kind of pick out from his interview? I mean, this is his first time, I mean, being a defensive coordinator in the NFL. He's a young guy. We saw what happened with Mike McDonald when he came over, goes to the Ravens. Now he's the head coach of the Seahawks. But Jesse Minter, just what did you kind of get from him?
I could have spoken to him for like 20 minutes and really we just kind of went on and he was very, very impressive. And I think, you know, when I kind of talk about that familiarity that these coaches have primarily with Jim Harbaugh, he said that's actually going to bode really well for them moving forward now with the Chargers. Because when he got to Michigan, Minter's like, I was the new guy. You know, I was kind of learning how Harbaugh ran things. He was established, but now we're coming into this together. And I know how he likes to run things. One of the biggest takeaways that I had from that interview with him was what he talked about with this defense and how he said, we're trying to not complicate things, but it's going to be a 50-50 situation. It's 50% of what you play and 50% how you play. The what you play, he said, is going to vary because that's going to be like, who's our personnel that's available on our team this week? Who are we going up against? What do they do? And then the 50% of how they play, he goes, that's never going to change. That's the toughness. That's the physicality. Those are the things, you know, these things that we've heard, right? But he said, we're not making it overwhelming. We want these players to do what they do best. And I said, well, how do you do that where you're kind of going to change some things because, you know, he's known to be multiple. He's known to disguise a lot. And he said it really, really comes down to we're not memorizing play calls. Now, here's the thing. I don't know what that means quite yet. And I can't wait until we get to talk to players when they actually get to dive into this scheme to really hear, like, what is that? But it's not necessarily the play calls. It's more the concepts and how that's going to vary from week to week. You know, we talked a lot about Derwin James, obviously, and he goes, he's enticing because he can do so many great things, but we got to pull the reins back. We got to just let Derwin, at least to start, do what he does best. And that's obviously just, you know, getting off the ball and having him play close to it and whatnot. And so I think all of that. And now you have Khalil Mack back and you have Joey Bosa back and you have Thule, you know, who's able to rotate in there as well. So you have these guys, these sort of, you know, veteran players who are now going to learn this scheme as well, coupled, you know, with some new guys that are being brought in or probably going to be brought in during the draft as well. But I just think the biggest kind of takeaway was going back to what I said, even though I said like 5 things already, was just the fact that he's coming in now, even though he is new to the NFL, he's been established with Harbaugh, and that's going to just do really, really great things, I think, for this defense.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But obviously, you talk about when you look at Greg Roman, just what were kind of some of your impressions from him? Because I know there's been a lot of talk about what is this offense going to look like? Is it going to be a run first? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Like, what were kind of some of your impressions from Greg?
So here's my thing. Whenever I go into an interview, especially if you're reading things like that and you know you're going to sit down with someone, I wanted to give Greg Roman the floor and try to ask the questions that would elicit a response to say like, hey, here's how we're going to do things. And the biggest takeaway was balance. This is going to be a really, really balanced offense. I was like, hey, we know you like to run the ball, but you got Justin Herbert. And so how do you balance that? And he goes, well, you just have to find a way because you're not running it all the time, but you're not passing it all the time. And he obviously truly believes in being, a better run team as the season goes on as well. Gus Edwards might play a role in that now. But he said the biggest thing is I want this offense to become a nightmare for opposing defenses. I want this offense to be so multifaceted and change things up that when a defense comes to play the Chargers, it's like, oh gosh, we got to play them. And Fernando, like you've been around this team for a while and you've watched the Chargers for a while. And we remember like growing up in the mid 2000s, that was the Chargers team, right? Yeah. They were a freaking nightmare on offense. And I think that, might it take some time? Sure, because we've seen now a lot of attrition happen within this offense over the last week or so and what's to come. But that was the general philosophy. And he said, ultimately with Justin Herbert, it's our job as coaches to tap into it, to tap into what he does best. And so I think, look, he laid it out there. We're going to see what happens. Like I said, there's been a lot of change over these last couple days already with this offense. But, this is a deep draft, and I'm sure there's going to be some new guys to come in, and they'll all just build it together.
Can I get a follow-up, Fernando, before you ask your next question to Hayley?
No, it's all you now.
Okay. I was just curious because, maybe, I don't know if the subject came up, Hayley, but does Greg, hear people say, it's not, 2014. It's a pass-heavy league now. He hasn't been, play caller for a couple of years now. And then the jokes about Herbert running the football a lot more, like, like Lamar Jackson or Colin Kaepernick, two quarterbacks that he worked with. Did that come up at all? Does he laugh about stuff like that? If it did?
I will say this. He laughed a lot. So going into it, look, Greg Roman's been around for a really, really long time in the NFL, and I didn't quite know what to expect. And off the bat, when he was kind of coming in, he was kind of cracking jokes. And I'm like, okay, cool. I can kind of crack jokes and like, we're good. We necessarily did not crack jokes about that stuff specifically. But I think his ultimate point was, because I also asked, how do you balance like production and efficiency? And his point was, we're here to win. Like, fantasy football is great and stats are great, but our goal is to win games, and us as coaches put these players in the best positions to do that. So, like I said, he laid it out there. We have kind of the blueprint of maybe what's to come. And, we've seen some offensive additions over these last couple of days as well, along with some subtractions, if you will. But I think, as this continues to build, we'll get more of that vision of what's to come. But hey, if he wants this offense to be a nightmare, I'll take him at his word. That sounds great.
Hey, nothing wrong with being a physical team when the trench is in. Fernando, let me ask this question. You can have the next one. But a difficult, I guess, maybe question for Charger fans to hear. Keenan Allen no longer around, and you've been with the team for a long time. I'm guessing you know Keenan Allen very well. And when did the news happen, Fernando? Like late Thursday night? So I'm guessing
Thursday night.
A bombshell for everybody. What did you think about it, Hayley? And any stories you want to share from covering Keenan Allen?
Yeah, I think, I think everyone was surprised, obviously, in many ways, just because we had kind of seen like these dominoes fall. We knew like the big four, right? With Mike and Joey and Khalil and Keenan, and that something was going to have to happen there. The Mike domino falls, the other two restructure, and then Keenan's kind of left over here. And so, look, I will not speculate as to the decision that they made. We'll hear from Joe Ortiz and we'll hear from Jim Harbaugh at some point, I assume, like I said, probably before the draft, where we'll find out kind of what everything happened, what went into free agency, if you will. But it's a crazy loss to think that Keenan Allen will not be on this team moving forward. And there's a couple of things I actually like wrote down some notes because I thought we were going to talk about this and I had some thoughts. But I'll say this. We talk a lot about, well, actually, I'm going to rewind. We talk a lot about Justin Herbert's sort of impromptu ascension into the NFL and his start. And it's not necessarily a start with Keenan Allen, but if Malcolm Floyd didn't get hurt in 2013 and didn't get, horrifically carted off the field with a season-ending neck injury, would Keenan Allen be who we know Keenan Allen is? And it's just kind of crazy when you go back and you look at the circumstances, because he really couldn't crack. It was, I think, week 2 of 2013, so it was still early. But, you know, he was this 3rd-round pick coming off these, you know, injuries, didn't work out at the combine. There was a lot of questions. You know, I actually went back and I looked at his NFL draft prospect like profile, and he was expected to go in the top 25 if his knee and ankle checked out. He went 76th. So it is crazy when you look at that and you look at what happened with Malcolm. And the good news was M80 was able to come back and they were able to play together and all of that. But I wanted to say that, and then I'll tell my kind of story that I sort of tweeted the other day. But in 2013, I was a student at Palomar College, and my timeline's really funky. I had already received my bachelor's degree, but Palomar had a great broadcast program, and I really wanted to like learn how to do this, like how to do all the hands-on stuff. And they had a weekly 30-minute newscast. And so I had this crazy idea in spring of 2013 to write Bill Johnston, who was the head of PR at the time at the Chargers, and say, hi, my name's Hayley Elwood. I'm a student at Palomar College. I'm in their North County news class. Is it possible to maybe get an interview with the Chargers' 1st-round draft pick, whoever that is? Thinking he's going to say no. He writes me back and goes, yeah, like whenever we do our introductory presser, which I think was probably on Saturday, you know, after, like the 3rd day of the draft or whatever, you and your camera guy, come on down. So DJ Fluker is the choice, obviously. And then Manti Te'o goes in the 2nd, and Manti, Fernando, you could attest to this, just like dominates everything, right? Because all of a sudden he becomes the story. And then you have this guy in the 3rd round out of Cal, this wide receiver who is just kind of there. And lo and behold, has the indelible mark, makes his indelible mark on Chargers franchise history. And I just think it was really crazy when you look back at that day and how you had this, you know, guy from Alabama, you had Manti, and then Keenan was sort of just this 3rd-round guy, you know, again, coming off injuries, trying to figure it out, and ends up being the like superstar who he was. And I think, you know, one of my favorite parts about being around Keenan were just the conversations that you got to have. I remember in 2017, he told me, he's like, give me 16 games, like give me the 16 games. And I promise you, I will be the best in the league. And okay, so 17 games now, but I think what he did last season was truly, truly incredible to do it at the age that he did. And so I think, you know, one other thing and then I'll shut up about all of this, but I think one of the best things about Keenan too has been, for those of us who have been around him for a long time, to have seen his growth from this, you know, young kid out of Cal to this very established player, father, husband, teammate, all of that. And how when, you know, I think at the beginning of his career, it was Phillip Rivers guiding him along, and it was Stevie Johnson and Eddie Royal and Gates and Malcolm and those guys guiding him along. And then at some point there's a shift that happens and he becomes that guy for Joshua Palmer, for the younger guys, but then also for Justin Herbert. And so now going to Chicago, and whoever it is that they take it 1st overall, let's call it Caleb Williams, if it is Caleb Williams, he, I think, is going to be such a great resource for him because he's done it now with a younger guy and he knows how to do it. And what, you know, better teammate would you want than to have Keenan Allen be paired up with you?
And not just that, Hayley, but in 2013, I remember he had a rough go of it during training camp. Mike McCoy was saying, we don't know if we're going to use him against Houston. Remember that game? They were up 24-0. Houston comes back and beats them on Monday Night Football. And Keenan was inactive for that game. So they had thrown him in there in that Eagles game. And all of a sudden, it's like it starts clicking. But yeah, that's what I was telling Gilbert last week, is that I know Gilbert was with him for about 3, 4, 5 years, but I mean, you and I were with him for all 11 years. So it was definitely interesting to see just the way he kind of came in, how he grew, how he was able to be one of those guys. And he always talks about it. He's like Gates, Eddie, all those guys, like they were always so great with me. So that's what I want to turn around and do. So DJ Moore, you're going to get a great guy who's going to teach you a lot about the game, because DJ, we've seen exactly the kind of player he's been. So that definitely is going to be interesting to see him now in Chicago. And I'm going to be honest. I'll throw some honesty out there. Caleb, you better be ready, dude, because this guy's going to tell you how it is. Like, he's not going to sugarcoat anything. If he doesn't think like you can rock it. He's gonna tell you, so you better be ready for that truth serum, as they say, because Keenan's not gonna stay quiet if he's not doing it the right way, to be honest. Just
No,
like
but I think also, just to interrupt or interject, I think that's kind of part of his charm. Also, really quick, when I went back, because I went back to watch a bit of that Eagles game in 2013, and it was a 3rd and 8, and his reception went down for 18 yards and a pass interference. So he knew exactly what he was doing back then to draw the flag. And it's so funny because, I mean, it's not funny, but looking back, you hear Greg Gumbel as he's talking about this. It's like 3rd and 8, and he's like, man, this, the Chargers have just, these players, it's so tough. You see one of your, your teammates go down in this horrific fashion. This is where the going gets really tough, and you got to dig deep. And then, lo and behold, an 18-yard reception from Philip Rivers to Keenan Allen, and the rest is history.
And even Greg Gumbel said, "Who is this Keenan Allen guy?" Like, I remember at one point he said that. So it was just one of those things where it just completely got going. But yeah, no, Keenan, Chicago media should be excited because I'm sure he'll miss all of our smiling faces, but I'm sure Chicago media should be excited. But Hayley, kind of shifting gears a little bit to the NFL, more money obviously means more money to go play around with. It feels like there's been a lot of movement during free agency. Is that kind of the way you've seen it? I mean, just it seems like so many players are moving. Justin Simmons gets cut in Denver. Like, Russell Wilson's down Pittsburgh. Justin Fields goes to Pittsburgh. Like, it's just a lot of movement and chaos. Is that kind of week one? I mean, and we're only a week into this, so is that kind of what you've gotten?
It is so crazy. I think this is my 11th season now, like working in the NFL. I don't think there's been an off season like this before. In fact, I was queuing it up. My mom sent me this GIF. I'm not sure how clear it's going to, oops, hang on. It's Leslie Knope. Sorry, my stupid ring lights in the way. She's like erasing the whiteboard. And my mom's like, this is going to be me trying to figure out like all the moves and where everyone is gone. And it's absolutely insane. There is like so much, so many different things that are happening. But then it's funny, you look at like Washington, you're like, okay, Anthony Lynn's over there now, and Austin Eckler's over there, and Michael Davis is over there now. And so it's like you kind of see some like little bunches, kind of similar to how some of these Ravens and former Ravens have now, entered the Chargers. But this is a really, really, really crazy offseason. And I just think, you have the teams like the Washingtons. I think Chicago had a lot of money that are able to sign a lot of these guys. And then you maybe have the teams like Denver that are sort of now crafting the team in the vision that maybe Sean Payton wants the team to be. This one's nuts though, man. This is a really, really, really crazy offseason. Like you said, we're only barely a week in, and there's probably still more to come. There's still, I'm sure, a couple names out there who are looking to find homes and whatnot, but this definitely feels like an absolutely wild ride of an offseason and of a free agency for sure.
Gilbert's mad at me because I've kept this going about football. No. He wants to talk about something else, but real quick, fans are showing you love. Hayley, Brisket Broad say, Hayley. Somebody else said, love Hayley, always the best interviews, loved her coach's interviews.
Thank you.
Hayley's awesome. So everybody's showing Hayley love. I just wanted to make sure that everybody's showing you love. Gilbert.
Yeah. Hayley is the GOAT, so keep sharing the comments. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I'll share some of the comments right now.
Hayley, I know you're a busy person.
Look at him. He's so antsy.
I'm excited. And you were talking about drama. I like drama, so I like drama TV. I know you like to watch reality TV. And by the way, we have that in common, reality TV. And also, we don't like avocados. I'm gonna say it on the chat. People are gonna lose their mind. I think I outed you. I'm sorry if I did that.
It's okay.
But it's a big deal. But we're in the same club. No avocado club. We're okay with that.
Yep.
But the question now for the drama. Love is Blind season 6. What did you enjoy from that season? It could be the location fiasco with Jeremy, or it could be Trevor having a girlfriend, but he was picked number 2, or Jimmy needing his EpiPen. So I don't know. What stood out to you from all the drama?
So if we thought free agency was weird, it has not had anything on season 6 of Love is Blind. This was the craziest season. Look, I don't watch the Housewives. I really don't watch any of the Beverly Hills or Real Housewives franchises at all. Love is Blind, I guess, is my reality TV. And I'll say this, I think it's kind of funny how, because at the reunion show, they brought some old couples back and I didn't totally remember everyone because I feel like, sorry, Jorge, I know I don't like avocados. Like,
sorry, I shouldn't.
Now all
never
the
should have
comments are
mentioned
gonna
it.
be like, well, boo. Anyway, but
No,
I
somebody
realized,
said, Hayley, we love you. So there you go.
oh, okay, there we go. I realized though, I dump so much. Like as soon as a season's over, it's like it goes in the hard drive in my brain and then like straight to the recycle bin. And I just like forget about it. I'm never forgetting season 6, like as long as I live. Like season 6, much like Shake in that one season and everything that happened with him. I will never forget season 6. Favorite moment, craziest moment, hard to pick. There was just so much. And I think the other crazy thing too was everything that was sort of also playing out on social media, like on TikTok or Instagram or whatever it might be, that because everyone's a sleuth now, because Swifties have sort of like commandeered this new generation of like FBI investigators online, people are like finding all this stuff. And then also people were sharing and volunteering some of this stuff, like Trevor's ex, if you will. Man, it is really hard though to pick.
Can I go now?
Yeah. Let's just like talk about.
What a pick for her or what?
No. I'm saying no. I'm saying. Remember, Trevor's like, "Can I go now? Can I?"
Yeah.
Yeah. First off, I
don't know what to say.
I have never seen a more like uncomfortable human being like on television in my life. And like I loved Mina Kimes's Love is Kimes recap podcast that she and David did, and I thought it was so great. And they almost talked about like, was it a bit? Like, was it a little like, was it a bit like, were we playing into it a little bit much? I don't know, but that was something.
Megan Fox.
Fox, yeah, and yeah, guys.
The things open up, and you could just tell his face. He's like, Jimmy was like, like.
Okay. So let's actually talk about this because this is something that Mina Kimes had talked about, and I totally agreed with because Nick and Vanessa Lachey, as I said, I do not watch the Real Housewives franchise, and so I've never seen one of their reunions, but I saw a lot of tweets that I think Andy Cohen needs to start like running these reunion shows because he'll ask the questions. And Mina Kimes had said, they didn't first off, they never touched on Jimmy and Chelsea in the reunion show. And like, what the heck? Because there's a lot to unpack there. But there's
a petition out since last year to get Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey out and to get new people in. Yeah, people have said Gilberto needs to be in there, but I don't know. I think
your brother being down with I'm glad.
You asked the right questions. So the question that they wanted to ask was to Chelsea, like, you sort of built this relationship on like a false pretense because if you're behind a wall and if I was to tell someone I look like Megan Fox, like what is the image that's in your head? It's Megan Fox, like that. It's never going to change. Even if you're talking to a girlfriend on the phone and you're like, oh, hey, and you're like, oh my gosh, I met this girl, like this friend and she looks like Megan Fox. Like I'm going to think that girl looks like Megan Fox. Like I'm not thinking anything different, but sweet Chelsea, man, not
By
great.
the way, somebody on TikTok put they're like, you guys are imagining Megan Fox in a different way. They put Megan Fox's face on Jay Leno's like face shape, and it actually looked like Chelsea. Like that wasn't wrong. So I was actually I actually thought that was pretty funny and spot on.
And Hayley, I think Jimmy did call his girlfriends because he has a lot of girlfriends and said, I'm seeing this Megan Fox person.
By the way, that was actually pretty fun. Well, not funny. Well, I thought it was funny.
I know. See, that's the thing though. It's like it's hilarious, but it's not.
Yeah, they put his business out there with him and his friend like sleeping together or hooking up or whatever. And then he's like, yeah, she was really pissed at me for that one. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the danger when you're on these shows is that some stuff can come out. And it seemed like Megan Fox Jr. over there was drunk that night when she started bringing that stuff up. But it's also kind of on the camera people to be like, hey, like maybe he doesn't want that stuff to get out, but
keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Like they were like, yeah, keep it going.
Because they still edit it, right? And I think that was sort of Chelsea. Chelsea did, I think, kind of say in the reunion show that though she said it because she was like acting kind of nuts and she wanted like the reasoning to be out there, which I guess I understand. But like it's if someone tells you something in confidence, like, hey, this happened, like I'd rather not air it out. There is a third party involved and like you shouldn't be bringing them into this, very like unforgivable situation.
What if they're seeing a guy or a significant other or whatever, and then all that happens? So yeah, that's exactly it. But I don't know how you felt, but I thought in the reunion show, Nick Lachey, he got kind of heated in one point. I don't know if people missed this, but I thought the reason why they brought back former cast members is to kind of be like, hey, this is real. This isn't like to come out, because they got really mad at Sarah Ann. They got really mad at Trevor. They got mad at some people because they're like, you guys are just here for clout, this, that, whatever. And we are in that age where everybody's doing stuff for clout or whatever. But it seemed like Nick Lachey was really harping on that. And that's why they brought out all the cast members or former cast members and stuff, because it seemed like they were really harping on, hey, this is legit. This is real. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, how don't you expect people to go in there and put out a front? Like, there were some other people that, like you said, Chelsea put up a front of, hey, I look like Megan. Like, people, I don't know, because if you think about it, in the first 2 or 3 seasons, people were making it all the way to the altar and then saying yes or no. Now everybody's kind of like the I can't remember his name. Gilbert, you know who I'm talking about. He looks like a friend of ours. They ended up calling it quits like Kenneth. Yeah, Kenneth. They ended up calling it quits like an episode in. Yeah. And
middle
it's
school
like,
principal, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But like they called it quits like half of an episode in, and it's like that used to not happen. And then last year or 2 seasons ago, I remember that guy that's now he had somebody else. She was really mean, and then he like tag teamed somebody else in halfway through the season. Then he ends up marrying her, the couple that were pregnant. And they just showed them on the reunion.
I know too many names. Sorry.
Yeah. Zach and Bliss. But whatever. That's what I mean. Like, it just seems like they're not making it to the altar anymore. And I think that's what fans are starting to get really frustrated with, is that they're not making it to the altar.
Well, and they brought Kwame and Chelsea is now working for Love is Blind and working for like the casting or whatever. So I think you're probably onto something there that is like that there might be something there where they're trying to make this more legit. But like, it is, it is an experiment, and I don't know how you do it. I mean, look, Johnny and Amy seem like they're great, and they seem like they're totally going to make it all the way and whatnot, until the end of time. But it is a little weird. Can't really imagine doing that. Can I say one other favorite thing? Because I did kind of tweet this a couple weeks ago. So my other favorite thing this season, we know about like the goblets, but I have never paid attention to the plain hats that they make certain cast members wear. And so there was a couple, I think it was the episode where they all went to the lake or something. And Jeremy and Jimmy had these plain like Amazon basics, like trucker hats.
Like a stalker hat. Like you're stalking somebody,
so like
sunglasses, yeah.
And the super funny thing is, so like up here, I have a photo with Fall Out Boy. Patrick Stump, the lead singer, loves hats. He loves hats. He loves plain baseball caps. But you can find plain baseball caps out there. But these were like, I don't even know where they found these. And my favorite part too, besides like when you saw two of the same, like 2 guys wearing them in different colors, later on in that episode, they ended up going to when they try on the suits, like the suit day with all like the groomsmen and wedding parties and whatnot. And like one of their friends is wearing one of these hats. And I was like, he rolled up in like a Carolina Panthers hat or something like that.
Take it off. Yeah.
Like, no. We got here, take this and put this on.
I didn't even think about that. I kept saying that, like, that's a hideous hat. And then like wearing that nasty hat with the Hawaiian shirt, like I guess that's a look now. But
guys,
you're on
Love is Blind producers. There's got to be like better like hats on
the
Amazon
three of us.
Or something that,
the three of us should join Love is Blind.
I'm gonna do a promo. Give him a Compas hat.
There you go.
It's funny. My brother's like, I'm gonna put you on Love is Blind. I'm like, why? He's like, and then you just wear Compas gear the whole time. I'm like, they're not gonna let me do that. Just stand in there and like wear the sweatshirt and stuff and like. So yeah, exactly. But also, I thought it was pretty funny when they took the timer from who did they time again? That Jimmy and Jessica.
Oh yeah.
When they timed them
90 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's him going to Sarah Ann's house, right?
No. This was the Jimmy and Jess like she let.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Ended it.
Yeah,
but they did it.
When he was deciding
2.5 hours or whatever.
Jimmy was like low key, like not only toxic, but he was very like a pathological liar. Like he lied for everything that was going on, and it just seemed like it was so weird. But Yeah, but and then AD and that one dude, I like he's like basically begging her to go back, and but at the same time he's like, "Why do you feel like I'm gonna cheat?" And Gilbert and I and my brother had said this, like he just wants to get the cheating out of the way and then get with her, but it's like
He wasn't
that's
ready.
not the way it works.
It's not the way it works. And also, like, why go on the show if you're
Exactly.
like, kudos to him because he did say it sounds like he's kind of been going through some stuff to try to work through maybe some of the things that he dealt with. Yeah, just a banner of a season, but for probably not the ways that a season would want to be remembered.
Do you watch Perfect Match?
No, but I might now.
Okay, last season's Perfect Match was actually like it was like toxic as hell. I think either one of us got the other one into it, and it's actually pretty interesting to see the whole dynamic of it. They just bring like people from other shows, they bring them in, and it's like a whole like it's like Big Brother kind of in a sense.
Okay.
So it's very toxic, and I guess they're bringing Jessica from this season.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing Izzy from the previous. So like it seemed like they're already getting a bunch of toxic people. So I think it could be even worse.
There were rumors, or I saw some stuff online, but they didn't address it in the finale that Trevor is probably on the season as well, or was going to be on the season or something like that.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
He's got to drop the girlfriend first and then go on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Gilbert, any more questions about Love is Blind?
No, that's it. Thank you for the extra time, Hayley. I needed to ask those questions, and I appreciate the answers.
Hayley, are you cool real quick? Oh, my bad.
We always balance like football and pop culture, so it's great.
Hayley, real quick, are you cool taking like maybe one or two fan questions? Is that cool?
Sure. I'll do my best here.
Yeah. There you go.
Any news on when the Chargers are moving to the new training facility? Don't have the exact dates on that, but I do believe it is expected to open this year. If you've driven by it, it looks pretty incredible and is on its merry way to get done. So I believe that was always the goal, was summer of 24. So we'll see what happens from there on out.
There you go.
How much does Justin Herbert not like to talk when cameras are on? I've enjoyed all my conversations with Justin Herbert. I will say that. I believe he has a very underrated sense of humor. He is extremely dry. And I think the thing is, it's when you're around different players, you just kind of know what you're going to get. And you know that Justin's here to play football. And I don't even think it's really that he doesn't like the cameras necessarily. It's just he's here for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons to use a reality show line, if you will.
By the way, last year when he got hurt and he's like, "'Tis but a scratch," like I thought that would like kind of like in a sense, kind of like Joe, like a different version of Joey. Like they have a different kind of humor. They find different things. Bash, I'm not gonna ask that. Shut up. Okay. I really think that's the thing. He's different. He's a different kind of guy. And I mean, everybody's different. Like not everybody has that outgoing personality. Like people are just, I think it's because of Philip kind of, everybody thought like maybe Justin would be the same way, but Justin just completely, he loves playing ball. Like he's a great, he's different, just a different kind of guy, but he's funny. Like whenever he throws his little one-liners, like I remember somebody asked him like, are you still working out? Do you still pump weights? And he's like, why does it not look like it? And that got Gilbert 1.4 million views on TikTok. So Gilbert was appreciative of that one.
We'll take that answer.
Yeah. Any dumb questions, I'm ready to record them. Yeah,
exactly. Question for all three of you. All receivers are available. However, you get an offer for the 5th from Chicago. 8. So you're going to trade with Chicago again, Luis?
Oh, okay.
You get 8, 3rd, and the 1st. Yeah. So what would you do? So all the receivers are there, Hayley, or do you trade down? What are you doing, Hayley?
So this is an interesting thing when you think of where the Chargers, maybe where their needs are right now, and obviously in this draft. And when you look to receiver, yes, there is a need now at that receiver space. But if you do get an enticing offer, I'm going to dance around answering this, but if you get an enticing offer, do you pull back and then maybe do what the Green Bay Packers have done over these last couple of years? And that's take receivers in the mid rounds or so. In 2022, they took Christian Watson, they took Romeo Doubs, they picked up Bo Melton from the Seattle practice squad. And then in 2023, they picked up Jaden Reed in the 2nd, Dontavian Wicks in the 5th. Malik Heath was an undrafted free agent who ended up coming along. and sort of building your core maybe that way, adding with Quentin Johnston and adding with Joshua Palmer and sort of adding some other guys. So is that something you do? We've heard this is a deep receiver class. Maybe you do trade back. You know what I mean? If the offer is enticing enough and if you like, what your board is like, because that's obviously most important. But then again, you do where you are picking at 5, you have these 3 blue chip receivers. 2 could still be there. I don't know if all 3 will be there when you pick at 5, but you do have some options. And I think when you look at how the Packers have built their offense over the last, 2 seasons, with the loss of Devontae Adams, and it's like, how are they going to be able to move on? And it's like, well, you found these younger guys who all kind of were thrown into the fire, obviously with Jordan Love, but thrown into the fire, and they were able to figure it out. And maybe is that something now with this Chargers team where Justin is obviously established and you have Palmer and Johnston who have been here, but they're all learning a new offense at the same time too. So maybe is it not that difficult to add a couple new faces to the bunch to see what happens there?
Gilbert, remember that's a San Diego mentality.
Say, Hayley, he's happy because he mentioned the Packers met it yesterday, so last week.
Okay.
So great minds think alike.
That's at San Diego. Real quick, Hayley, any news on where the Chargers draft party is going to be?
I have not heard, Brisket Broads. I am very, very sorry, but hang tight. We are 6 weeks away or so.
Yep.
So we will.
Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go to any Rancho Bernardo games? Eric Weddle's now there. I mean, hey, your Broncos weren't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I actually did see him. He remembered me. I was like, oh, I'm surprised you remembered me. He's like, dude, he's like, I can't forget that smile. And I started laughing. I was like, well, I appreciate that. But have you seen your Broncos play yet, or?
I have not seen my Broncos play. You know what? I would like to actually go down and catch a game. It was actually really cool seeing Weddle at Gates's day that he came. At the alumni game. And we got to kind of catch up and all about that. And that was awesome. Poway Unified now, it's Weddle at RB. Who is the coach of Del Norte? Is it Nick Barnett? Who used to play?
He was a linebacker.
Hang on. But to have these pro
Nick Barnett.
Yeah, it is Nick Barnett. Okay. Who's a linebacker for the Packers. To have these pro players now coach these high school teams, that's awesome. That is so great. And I'm sure, the talent doesn't just start and stop with them. I'm sure there's other, districts. I just don't follow high school football as closely as I used to, but that's pretty cool. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll get down and we'll check out those Broncos. The good, I always like to say it's weird working for the Chargers and like you got the Broncos, but the RB Broncos.
Exactly. But Hayley, thank you so much. By the way, you mentioned a name, Bill Johnston, hell of a guy. He gave me my opportunity to go in there. So it's awesome that he gave you that opportunity as well. Bill Johnston, a great guy, a great human being, just was fantastic in all facets of it. But Hayley, thank you so much for jumping on with us. We truly appreciate our yearly tradition. We love it, and we hope to see you soon in person. Tell Chase I say hi. I hope you keep on enjoying your Ducks games. I know you're there constantly. I think that's totally awesome. But Hayley, honestly, we always appreciate you having you on and talking shop a little bit and seeing how you're doing.
Thanks, guys. I definitely appreciate it. I will join you for Weirdo Time anytime you want. So thanks for having me.
There you go. She knows about Weirdo Time. Yeah, heck yeah. Hey, next season, after the next season's done of Love is Blind, we'll have you back on and we'll discuss it again.
Perfect. What's a
Thank
date?
You so much.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, heck yeah. Let's book it. That is Hayley Elwood. Thank you so much, Hayley. And now we are back. It is Gilbert and myself. Hayley is amazing. So awesome to have her on, Gilbert. And just the insight that she's able to bring. I mean, she's like we said, the Brisket Broads say, us weirdos love you weirdos. Hell yeah. I'm telling you, weirdo.
I think you started something with Weirdo Time, Fernando.
Heck yeah. That's going to be a t-shirt. It's Weirdo Time. And the picture of Dan and Dago. But definitely awesome, Gilbert. And I'm telling you, Gilbert, we kind of, the three of us, if we put our minds together, I bet you we could put a better product out there than Love is Blind, or we could help improve it.
Oh, I definitely think so. I will go to people's houses and interview them like for features, and then back to you in the studio, Dan and Fernando.
No, it would be toxic time. I think I'd be a little bit more. Let's do. Hey, you didn't like the chick that you chose? You can tap out, send her packet, and then bring a new one in. Let's go. Like just like that guy did. Zach did it a couple of seasons ago. But yeah, I always love catching up with Hayley, and like we said, it's a yearly tradition. Hopefully, we got to do it next year in New Orleans with her. Hopefully, she's out there. But something tells me that there's going to be a new season of Love Is Blind before the NFL season's over.
They've been doing 2 per year.
A
so
year.
I think the Valentine season and then like in the fall, right?
Yeah. Right around like October,
or maybe summer, right? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like late summer, early stuff. So it's honestly been real quick. Kevin Harold says, "Hey guys, I'm a Charger fan since 1978. It's been a long time since I've had hope for our future."
All right, there you go.
Kevin, that's I mean, that's a long.
People feeling better after the Keenan Allen trade on a Monday, so I like it.
I mean, yeah, it's not like last week where they were all freaking out and everything, but Gilbert, just any other takeaway? I mean, she, like we said, she spoke to Ryan, she's Ficken, she spoke to Greg Roman and Jesse Minter. I think those two, everybody kind of knows what they're going to get out of Ficken, but I think it was Roman and Minter that has the most question marks. And a little bit, we're going to bring in Vic, the producer, to do rapid fire with us. So yeah, everybody be ready for that. We need a song for rapid fire, but whatever. I'll digress. But Gilbert, what did you kind of make of all that?
Yeah, the conversations about the coordinators besides Ficken, like you mentioned, Jesse Minter and Greg Roman, were interesting because they're newcomers, and especially Jesse Minter, like, you know, he's coming from the college game, and a lot of people want to compare him to Mike McDonald. Is it gonna be the same scheme? And then, you know, you see what the Ravens, they found a way to do it without having, you know, expensive edge rushers. Now, Jesse Minter's doing it with expensive edge rusher. Is that better or worse? I don't know, and I want to see the scheme. Or are we wrong for saying the scheme's going to be very similar to what they do with Mike McDonald now with Seattle? So I think it's going to be a little different, but also unknown. And when you have, you know, like Thule as well for 3 edge rushers, that should make your life easier, right? And then with Greg Roman, the whole question is like, okay, he hasn't been like, he was a play caller not too long ago with the Ravens, but it was little old school play style, right? You're going to run heavy. You're going to have your quarterback also run. You know, we saw with Colin Kaepernick and Lamar. What's going to happen with Justin Herbert? He's not that style, and he could definitely run, but you don't want to have him take a bunch of needless hits. So the scheme for the offense, it was great to hear from Hayley, you know, how that could evolve. Again, it's still the early stages, but they kind of hear the early part of it with Jesse and Greg was pretty cool.
You know, it's funny. Jorge said that I should totally do that. Go on Love Is Blind and just wear Compas gear every single day and just flash it on the camera.
I didn't think about the hat thing that Hayley mentioned because those hats are horrendous.
I had neither.
They're terrible.
I had neither.
Like, those are the hats you wear when you're stalking somebody and you're trying to like be discreet. Like,
exactly.
You know, no logos, no nothing.
Yeah. Oh, Mimsy said yes. Gilberto and Dan is the host.
Yeah.
There you go. That's picking up steam there. But
I will ask all the questions that are needed to be asked, but without having like an agenda. You could tell that Nick and I forgot what's the wife's name? I forgot her name, but they are very like Vanessa. They're very like, you're the worst person. A lot of judgment. I'm like, you kind of back off, but whatever.
The worst people are the hosts. I think Nick and her.
Hey, the dog's back, by the way.
Yeah. The dog's back. He won't leave me. Nobody's home, so he's trying to chill right here. So but yeah, Gilbert, let's do a little rapid fire. We get this moving over. Let me do that, and we'll bring on Vic, the producer. Oops, I kicked myself out. Vic, how do I
say hello, Victor?
Hello, guys.
You get some airtime more than Dan and Dale got this week, so I like it.
Nope.
No. Yeah, but Dan and Dago's a team player, so he'll probably he'll be okay with it. Hey, get out of there. So yeah, he's a team player, but yeah, we are
more airtime for Vic, the producer. Oh,
I'm in.
Okay.
All right.
There we go. We got it.
There you go. That's let's do let's see.
Let's get it on.
Oh, okay.
There you go. All right, Vic, get us started.
All right, guys. Let's start off with with some heat here. The first week of the new league year has seen plenty of player movement. What's a matchup you can't wait to watch from players that join new teams? Steelers at Broncos, Steelers at Falcons, Ravens at Chargers, Falcons at Vikings, Eagles at Giants, or any other matchup that you guys, after this first week, you've seen some player movement. What's a matchup that you can't wait to watch next season?
You won last week, so what do you want to do?
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I'll go first, and you know what? I'll let you have, if you want, Ravens at Chargers, but I wanted to go Steelers at Broncos, but now I'm thinking that Justin Fields is going to take that job from Russell Wilson, so I will take away some luster. So
Ooh,
I don't know if
hot
I
take?
really. Oh, come on, Fields is better than Russell Wilson. Come on, whatever. But that could be a conversation for another day. And the Steelers I know it's not the conversation. The Steelers are going to botch that by making Russell Wilson the starter, but whatever. I digress, like you mentioned earlier. And I'm not sure I really like this because it's an NFC East battle, but I'll go Eagles at Giants, Saquon Barkley against
You're
his
dead to
former
me.
team. You wanted that one?
No,
Because I
no,
picked
that
because I
no,
picked
no.
NFC East.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, because Tiki Barber said you're dead to me.
Yeah. That's the second time today I did not get one of your references when you're like, we mentioned the Love is Blind one. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, Saquon Barkley going to the Giants, and I better see Tiki Barber on the sideline. Thank you for adding more spice to my pick here, Fernando. So Saquon Barkley got a lot of money to go to the Eagles, but hey, no blame on him. The Giants would not pay him. Maybe the Giants are on the better end for not paying Saquon, but I don't know if you've seen the latest depth chart for the Giants for now. That's a terrible roster as of now, but they do have the number 6 pick. We'll see what happens. So give me Saquon going back to the New York Giants for my pick.
You know they're hoping that either Arizona or the Chargers like move out of that 4th or 5th spot so that they can take Malik Neighbors or Romeo or Rome Odunze.
Odunze. Like they have a high pick, but the worst part, like so are the Chargers and the Cardinals, they need a wide receiver. So you're right.
Exactly. 100%. I'm gonna go.
Just take the Harbaugh Bowl.
That's gonna be on Thanksgiving. I think Uncle Joe Reedy was saying that's gonna be on Thanksgiving, and I kind of want to do that, but I want to go Falcons and Vikings. So what if it's JJ McCarthy against Kirk Cousins in that game? And is Justin Jefferson gonna be there? There's gonna be a lot of talk about. I mean, I'm telling you. Last year was Tampa Bay. That was my pick. I think this year I might go with the Falcons are making some moves that I've kind of liked. So obviously Kirk Cousins, I still have a lot of question marks on. There's no way I would. He's probably a top 15 quarterback. I don't know if I'd go all the way up to top 10 just because he's coming off of that Achilles injury. But I'm actually really I'm interested about that Falcons at Vikings, but. Yeah, you have to kind of go with the Harbaugh Bowl just because it'll be the first time they face each other in so many years. What's that team going to look like? Hey, John's going to be pissed because he poached a lot of players from because they're competitive. He poached a lot of players and he poached Joe Ortiz because you've heard that Joe Ortiz is kind of like the mastermind of a lot of what they've done. So just a lot of different things. But that Harbaugh Bowl is going to be very interesting. You know, it's going to be prime time. I told Uncle Joe Reedy, I'm like, that would actually be a good Sunday night football game to kick things off for the season. But then Joe reminded me, well, a couple of years ago when he was in San Francisco, it was on Thanksgiving when they ended up playing the first time. So maybe they do it again. So that means I will not. Well, hopefully. Oh, no, it's in LA. So it would be Thanksgiving here in LA. So it won't be traveling or going anywhere else. But yeah, Gilbert, I'll go. You're right. I'm going to go Ravens and Chargers.
All right.
I was gonna give that point to Gilbert, but then you brought up the Harbaugh Ball. That's Harbaugh Ball is the way to go here, just because we're everybody in LA. If it happens, especially with that little insight that it might happen on Thanksgiving, that would be a nice, a nice game to watch on Thanksgiving. I would sign up for that. So point to you, Fernando. All right, next one, guys. Aaron Donald announced his retirement on Friday. With him now retired, who takes over the mantle as the best defensive player in the NFL?
You're up first, Fernando.
You took mine.
Well, you went first, so you could take it.
No, yeah, you're right. Go first.
All right, okay. Well, it's easy for me. They play the same position, defensive tackle, Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs, and Jorge might give me crap for picking the Chief here, but it is Chris Jones, back-to-back Super Bowls, dominant run for the postseason, back-to-back years. Like, what else can you ask for when you're in a contract negotiation that you deliver back-to-back Super Bowls? You're playing better than Aaron Donald. Sorry, Browns fans too, but it got to the point where Chris Jones was at that level. So he got paid. They made it work. Chris Jones definitely takes a mantle from AD as the best defensive player in the NFL right now.
Bro, I'm sorry. I have to talk to this guy, dude. Are you kidding me? Like, we're reporters. You came at me in one of the What's Up Bolts comments. I'm gonna do it again. We're reporters. I've been covering the Chargers for years. Gilbert's been doing it for years as well. So yeah, we're reporters. You can't take them seriously. Then why are you here? Paradise Hills. And why are you
Wow, you
here? Get
upset
out of here.
Fernando.
Well,
Hey,
God,
what's wrong with reporters
freaking-
talking about like isn't that what beat reporters do? Talk about a certain team?
and he's
We're talking
from
about-
my hood. He lives close to where I live, so it's honestly disappointing because why can't just reporters talk about what's going on with the team? If anything, we give you guys a little bit more insight because we are around all those. So
to call you out, Fernando, but
this guy's a clown. All right, call me out. Wow, you
block
really
him in the
called me
chat
out.
if you want. Block him.
Yeah, this guy is just a joke. All right. I don't know who to go with. I mean, there's too many. I wasn't prepared for this one, to be honest. I'll go Sauce
Nick
Gardner.
Bosa or Miles? Oh, we're going to corner. Okay. I was gonna say
Yeah,
edge
I'll go with
rusher.
a corner. I think Sauce Gardner is probably the best play. I like the way he plays, and I feel like this year the Jets are going to be even better. And I'm definitely excited about what the Jets are doing. And yeah, I'm going to go with Sauce Gardner. I think he's the best player. You really stumped me because I actually would have gone with Chris Jones, but
I would have gone Miles
yeah.
Garrett for my number 2.
Miles Garrett. Oh, damn. Okay, Miles Garrett. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Miles Garrett. No, to be honest, yeah, I'm probably gonna go with I'll stay with Sauce Gardner, honestly, but Miles Garrett is a good one. I couldn't even think about it. Yeah, you could tell I just saw this list right now, but give Gilbert the point.
It's called rapid fire.
Yeah, we'll give Gilbert the point there, but I would have done TJ Watt. You could have gone Miles
Paradise
Garrett.
Hills. See you later, bro.
Oh, you figure it out. Okay.
Well, there you
Oh,
go.
hell yeah, I panned him.
This is the first time in Compas on the Beat
Clown.
history that Fernando banned somebody.
We've
3
just
years.
made history, guys. So this is pretty awesome. So all right, guys, we're up. We're tied up 1-1. All right, next one. Now that Justin Fields has been traded to the Steelers, only Trevor Lawrence is the only quarterback drafted in the first round from the 2021 draft. Still with the team that drafted him. Is the 2021 draft the worst QB draft in NFL history?
Who's going first? I forgot. Me or you?
Well, I let you go first last time, so
Yeah.
I guess
well,
I'll
I don't
go
want you
with
taking my obvious answer here, so go ahead.
No, but I mean, it kind of is. I mean, because we even have questions on Trevor Lawrence, and that's kind of the thing. Like, yeah, Trevor had a good comeback against the Chargers and everything, but now kind of what you've seen, and heard what you've heard, that's no big feat. I mean, especially with what some of the problems were going on. But yeah, no, I think there's question marks about every single quarterback. I don't think those quarterbacks are good. Sam Darnold now is on his 3rd team. There's other guys who have been traded around, have been moved around. So I definitely, hey, Ivan, thank you so much for he's saying this is the first time he's ever listened live, listen through Spotify. Ivan, we totally appreciate it, man. You're the best.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Thank
but
you for listening through Spotify. I know we have an audio podcast version, but we mostly focus on video. We apologize. We'll do better on the audio version. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, but yeah, Gilbert, I'm gonna say yes. I mean, there's so many question marks about these guys. Like Trey Lance, literally, I couldn't believe that's why I'd be hesitant to trade up if if I did that, if I was any of these teams, just because it would scare the crap out of me, especially with all these quarterbacks and kind of the history of trading up. Gilbert and I were talking about it at UCLA. Kind of, if you look at the history of trading up, like look at Washington. Washington traded up for RG3, didn't go so well. There's other teams that obviously have traded up. I would kind of put Philly in there. Yeah, Carson Wentz did well, but at the same time, that one season, but they won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. They have a nickname for him out there. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, I'm gonna say that it is probably one of the worst draft class in history. And yeah, like I said, there's questions about every single quarterback in that draft class. So I will say yes. Gilbert?
Yeah. This is where maybe you could make or break my argument, but I think 2022 is worse. But then I think that the deciding factor is Brock Purdy better than Trevor Lawrence, or is Lawrence better than Brock Purdy? Because those are the only 2 good quarterbacks in the 2 classes. 2022, the first round pick they only had was Kenny Pickett. He is out the door. There was a Sam Howell who got traded. There's a couple players who are not even in the league right now. That was 2 years ago. So I was trying to look up the freaking the draft class for all the names. I couldn't figure it out. But 2022 was horrendous. 1 first round pick. That's Kenny Pickett. And he's not Brock Purdy. So the only reason that class is safe is Brock Purdy. But then again, who's better, Brock Purdy or Trevor Lawrence? And then one more, I forgot the year, that's why I didn't bring it up. There was a year that EJ Manuel was drafted in the first round. That was terrible, and I can't remember the year, so that was pretty bad. Maybe the year that Geno Smith was a second-round pick, that could be the same draft class. I don't remember, but 2022 was pretty bad too.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I was going to ask you guys, just to kind of follow up, how is it possible to have one of the best drafts in 2020 and then follow up with 2021 and 2022 as one of the worst drafts? What do you guys attribute to that?
COVID.
Not enough scouting.
Yeah, and it was very limited. Like, you had to do all your meetings during Zoom. During Zoom, I can't see. No offense, and not to sound like a weirdo, you can't see your hands. You can't see mannerisms. You can't see kind of the different things that people are talking about. It's a lot different than when you have them in person. When you do the workout, and then we didn't. We got to bring back Chucky's corner when he talks to the quarterbacks, and he's like, "Look, man, this is the way you're gonna do this and move things and everything." But no, I just think it's COVID. You didn't have enough and. Trevor Lawrence had been crowned after beating Alabama, 2 times in the national championship, or was it once? I think he has 2. No, he has 1.
I think he got beat once.
Deshaun has 1.
Yeah.
Deshaun has 1, and then Trevor has 1. After that national championship, when they ended up beating him, I mean, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, this guy's a slam dunk, number 1 overall pick." So yeah, and honestly, teams are. You have to remember too, Vic. A lot of teams get desperate, and that's kind of desperation doesn't make for a great. For great decision making. Yeah. That's why when Kevin said, isn't that why it's scary to give up draft capital for a quarterback? It's scary because it could make or break you. It could get you fired. I mean, the general manager of the Bears didn't get Patrick Mahomes, and what ended up happening to him, he got canned. I mean, there's definitely
the best way to do it is when you have a decent bridge quarterback to then get aggressive, like Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. Exactly. I think that's probably the best way to do it. But
the Chargers had Tyrod Taylor and then
Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers and
exactly. Well, Drew Brees was supposed to be the next quarterback.
Yeah, but they had insurance to say, you know what, let's draft a quarterback because we have this other guy. But then again, you're Eli Manning. I don't know. Maybe you're right.
Real quick, Kevin just asking, what impact will college players have on future college rookies? Isn't this the first time the draft class who got? Oh yeah, is it the first? Vic, do you know if this is the first draft class that's getting paid? That's already been paid.
NIL? No. I mean, if the NIL has been around now for 2 years, so
so last year.
Yes, last year was the first NIL.
Okay. This might be the first, like maybe freshman class, I guess, for the NIL, and then they're kind of now 3 years in, and they're coming out to the world with money, maybe.
Yeah, because I remember Spencer Rattler was the first player who got the bag in terms of NIL.
Yeah, he's coming out now.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's what he's talking about. Yeah,
because a lot of guys are like freaking staying in there and making their money in college.
That's the reason too. A lot of people are staying longer.
The NFL. So. Yeah.
All right, guys. Vic. All right, I'm gonna give Fernando the point there, just so we're tied up and we can get into some combat sports here, guys. Canelo Alvarez is fighting Jaime Munguia. Does this fight excite you for Cinco de Mayo, or does it hurt Canelo's legacy not fighting David Benavidez? Who wants to go first here?
Okay, I'm actually curious to see what Fernando says here. You know, it's not the most attractive pay-per-view, and maybe you can make a debate that you don't want to pay for it. That's okay. But I'm going to defend Jaime Munguia. This guy comes to fight. He's a banger. He doesn't have much defense. Still so chin. So if you want somebody who's not afraid of Canelo and has decent power, not good combinations, not really good with the footwork, but he comes to fight. And I'm okay with that. I'll watch it. I just don't like this on pay-per-view. Then in terms of legacy, like, I'm okay with it. I think his legacy is intact for Canelo Alvarez. People like to pick on him. It's always like, okay, why don't you go fight that guy or that guy? Go fight. Right now it's Dave Benavidez. Go fight Dave Benavidez. And before it was Triple G, and I get it, he got him pretty late. But he made a lot of money doing it the way the Mayweather did. And I think he's fought a lot of good talented boxers. Yeah, you could say maybe it was the wrong time or whatever. But Miguel Cotto is another one he fought pretty late. But he has a pretty decorated career. I'm not going to say he's the best of all time, but Canelo, it doesn't really do anything for me. I like the fight, and I don't think it's going to change his legacy. But again, it's not the best fight he could have had. It's David Benavidez. What?
It's Michael Pena. Say, "Daddy, don't get scared."
Where is that from? Is that from Ant-Man? The Line.
Vic, you might be better at that than I am, but
hey, Shane's probably new here, but yes, I am a lookalike apparently.
Shane, that was hilarious. By the way, real quick before I answer, Brett said, I mean, the NIL has been around for a while for some players, and then he put
Actually, yeah, that's a good
back.
point.
You said waited too late. You said that multiple times. Waited till they were too old. Said that multiple times. That really, if it was, that affects. I don't think it affects his legacy, but I feel like Floyd Mayweather at least kind of gave you fights that you knew, like you would watch him because you'd want him to lose. Now people, at least he gave you a reason to watch these fights. With Canelo, people are giving him almost a reason not to want to watch. He's giving them a reason not to.
It's not his fault. People don't know how to promote themselves. At least with Mayweather era, people were promoting themselves.
No, I understand that, but at the same time, Canelo did wait till Triple G was too old because he kind of knew, hey, this guy fights a different style. He could take it to me. And then we got 3 of those, and then the last one, it was like, dude, you didn't even knock him out. Like, you could have at least knocked him out. And then, but that's another thing I can't stand. Canelo, it seems like sometimes carries his people until the end and doesn't go for the knockout so he can give la gente lo que quieren. People want to see knockouts, dude. Nobody wants to see you in there dancing with him for 12 rounds and then holding him up the rest of the fight. So, yeah, fight Benavidez. Why don't you actually fight the people that people want you to fight? I'm going to tell you, it's going to be very telling when the numbers come out, maybe the Tuesday or Wednesday after that fight. The numbers are going to be very telling about what people think about Canelo Alvarez and who he's been fighting, and if they think it's worth it and everything. So it's going to be really interesting to see what those numbers are after that pay-per-view. But I don't think they're going to be pretty. I think there's a clear set on who they want him to. He was going to fight the Charlo brother. Like, dude, fight.
That's where I would have been very critical.
Well, I'm still critical. Munguia is, like you said, you've been on him for a while, and you've told me about him, and you've described him, and
he's not gonna win. I'm not saying all that.
No, I know, but that's what people want to see. They want to see Canelo be challenged. They want Gilbert Manzano to say, you know what, Jim? I think this can go either other way. So no, it doesn't hurt his legacy because I think his legacy is kind of intact, but. I'm sorry. I don't think Canelo's ever going to catch Julio Cesar Chavez as like the champion of Mexico and the people who he could have been. But the thing is, he's waited. He's picked and chose. That's what you get when it comes to this. So yeah, no, I'm a little disappointed in the tactics that Canelo's kind of taken for this, and I think he should be kind of knocked for it.
I'm with you, Fernando, and I'm going to give you this point. And I also blame PBC too. Like, I know this wasn't his fault in terms of he signed a deal and then PBC kind of went back on it. And then the other thing too, to kind of keep in mind, Munguia, he throws a lot of punches. And if you look at Canelo and what's been going on with him, his punches in fights have gone down more and more with each fight as he's gotten older. So that'll be something to kind of keep an eye on. But I just think that if this fight goes to a decision, they'll give it to Canelo, and hopefully that sets up a Benavidez fight in September. But I'm with you, Fernando. I don't like the way this is being handled. Like, they even had Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney having to move their match out of Las Vegas because of him. So there's a lot of disappointment here with Canelo, and I think boxing ever since they lost HBO and Showtime has just gone really down because they can't find a promoter to actually be able to, like, a TV spot. Even the Zone is just crapping out. Like, they don't have the talent to be able. I mean, we a year ago Crawford won a fight and we haven't seen him fight, and so I think boxing is going through a phase right now, and they need to figure out which way they're gonna go. And I think but to your point, Fernando, I'm with you on this one.
I'll say this, and I know we got to get going, but Canelo signed a 3-year deal with PBC, and I know it was back and forth deal, but a 3-fight deal is what I meant. A 3-fight deal, and he fought the Charlo brother. Now he's getting Munguia. If he fights David Benavidez to end this 3-fight contract with David Benavidez, I'll give him plenty of credit. If he doesn't end it with PBC, then I will definitely criticize him.
Same here. I completely agree with that, especially because, dude, come on, like and guess what you're gonna have to compete with in a couple of months, Canelo, if you really are gonna make it September 16th weekend. The Sphere, the UFC is gonna be at the Sphere, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there, especially with everything going on. But you know what, Vic brought up a good point. We miss boxing when it was in HBO, because you got moments like this.
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You got shit. I wish I was here. Kick your ass. You won't do shit.
That was you earlier blocking that one guy from the comments.
Oh, that guy's a jackass. Yeah, no, I couldn't stand that guy. Like, Vic, thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. Yeah, no, that guy's a jackass. So, dang, missed the live show. Oh, it's all right. No, we don't have Dan and Dago to say his.
Moy 42. I keep calling him Moy, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, watch the replay. You're gonna enjoy it. But thank you for jumping on the back end of the show.
Heck of a guess. My boys are cooking.
Oh, he's seen it. He watched it. Cool.
Hey, we have a lot of great stuff planned. So make sure you guys are obviously tuned in, subscribed, and everything. Gilbert, do you know who Salvador Sanchez is or no?
Yeah, the Mexican campeón.
Oh, Ike Boy 23 says you look like him.
Wait, he said that?
Did you? Did you ever look at?
Oh, okay, now you
think
I look like everybody now.
No. He said that. Remember, he told you about Salvador Sanchez?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's
asking
the one
if
that died in a car accident, right? I think it was.
Yeah. So he was saying, basically when the Mexico rivalry started in 81, or basically when the Mexico-Puerto Rico rivalry started in 81. So wow, we have.
Hey, by the way, prayers to Roberto Duran, Hands of Stone, man, is out there, and I think they put a pacemaker in him, I think, or life support. I forget what it is, but Hands of Stone, man, he's struggling right now. Hopefully, he fights through.
Yeah, no, definitely. Gilbert, obviously, Keith Thurman will not be fighting. Our boy, remind me of his name real quick.
Tim Zhu, and check out the interview on Compas on the Beat with Tim Zhu from the Aussie. And Fernando, you asked him a bunch of
Aussie.
A bunch of questions about snacks from Australia, so definitely watch that.
Yeah, what's his name wasn't happy about the questions that I was asking him during the interview. From Showtime.
Oh, Steven, you're gonna call him something else. Huh?
Steven Espinoza. Yeah. Steven Espinoza was not happy. He's like, "Are you hungry or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm fat, jackass." But all
right, Shane, I'm gonna do it. Daddy doesn't get scared. There you go. Shane wants me to do a Michael Pena line, so that was me doing the lisp with the one with he says yoga pants, with the cop guy.
Right.
Daddy doesn't care.
Tim. So obviously, Javier Fortuna is going to be fighting against him. Gilbert, what does this do to you for when it comes to this card?
Honestly, the hardcore boxing fan in me, that sounds weird to say, but Sebastian Fundora is an interesting character. He's a really tall boxer. He's like what 6'5", 6'7".
We've had him on the show before.
I think he got knocked out recently, but he's a good fighter, and I think he might be a better opponent for Tim Zhu. Tim Zhu's on the rise, but I can't wait to see Tim Zhu because there's a lot of hype around him, and I want to see how legit is he. And I didn't like the Keith Thurman fight, to be honest. Remember, I kind of was telling him at Super Raider, I was like, "Isn't Keith a little too old for you?" And he's like, "I'm still expecting the best Keith." He got hurt, so bring in the younger guy who maybe is not as experienced or as savvy as Keith Thurman, but he's a younger guy, good combination, and also very awkward. So I'm telling you, watch the video of Sebastian Fundora. Like it's like what is it? What's it called? That one bug? Yeah, Sebastian Fundora, the one with the I forget, but some kind of bug. The really tall with the tall arms, but whatever.
I can't remember.
I forget.
Yeah, no, that fight's gonna definitely be interesting, to say the least. Jesus. But definitely gonna be interesting, Gilbert. Any what is that? That's next week, right? Not this Saturday, but next Saturday,
March 30th. So I can't wait till that fight arrives because then we kind of get a boxing season. Like I know there's a lot of boxing promoters that want to compete with NFL, whatever's going on. So
it's
now,
hard.
Yeah. So spring season is good boxing. So there'll be that one, and then you got Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. You got Canelo. So and then obviously we got a lot of MMA and pro wrestling too.
Delbert says, "Good show, fellas. The good old days of boxing were gone when fighters fought." Gilbert, that's another thing that I've been wanting to ask you about. People used to fight like a couple of times. Now Crawford hasn't fought. A lot of guys take.
Yeah. If Crawford doesn't fight,
we were talking about it on Friday. Andy Ruiz hasn't fought. Like, there's a lot of guys that just don't fight. The only one I can really think about that fights consistently is Anthony Joshua.
Well, Crawford's kind of on a tough spot because he has a contract with the rematch with Errol Spence, but he's having eye surgery or whatever. He has some kind of surgery going on. Like, what do you can you wait for him? No, you already beat him up anyways. You don't want to watch that fight anyway. So, and then there's no real welterweights. Again, people are not promoting themselves pretty well. I know Tim Tszyu, the super middleweight. So do you go to super middleweight and compete with those guys? Or I think they want the money back, bro. So they're trying to get Canelo Alvarez to fight him, but it's kind of too big for Canelo. I would like to see it because he's the most skillful fighter in the world. But to go up from welterweight to super middleweight, that's just, I don't like that when people do that up and down with weight classes. So
Yeah,
I don't know what he does, to be honest.
Longtime Canelo fan, but Benavidez reminds me of Roy Jones / Sal Sanchez hybrid. Only one can hope they make it happen. Yeah, no, that's right, Gilbert. Folks, before we head out of here, don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification button. Anytime that Gilbert and I go live, you guys will be alerted. Gilbert, why don't you tell the good folks where their compas will be tomorrow on Tuesday?
Oh, yeah. We're talking about combat sports. So the compas, Fernando and myself, we will be in LA to cover the Canelo Alvarez versus Jaime Munguia fight. I get what it's Cinco de Mayo or May 4 or 5. I forget what it is. But anyways, the promotion starts tomorrow in LA. I think Beverly Hills to be exact. So we'll be in the fancy part, Beverly Hills Hotel. So the press conference is going to be interviews and all that. And the compas will be there to cover it. Who knows? Maybe we'll get Canelo for an interview. Who knows? I know he's kind of hard to get, but or maybe Munguia, but we'll be out there to cover it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Nice to meet you guys. Oh, Kevin, is this your first time? We appreciate you jumping on with us. So,
Kevin, don't mention Tacos del Gordo with Fernando, but
shut up.
Maybe he'll show you to a different place. How about that?
Yeah, Kevin, we appreciate it. Gilbert, what we have a lot going on, so make sure you guys are subscribed. We have a lot of stuff going on. We have some other stuff that we haven't talked about yet, but we have a lot of stuff that we are hoping comes to fruition, and we're really excited. Well, I guess we did book one. So Gilbert, if you want to go ahead and say where we're going to be in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be a busy time for Compas on the Beat, but we can say now for sure that we're going to be attending WrestleMania in Philadelphia. So we're going to be covering for a couple of days there some of the interviews and press conferences. So that's pretty exciting. We're going to be on the road. We covered WrestleMania last year at SoFi Stadium. So now to go across the country and cover it for Compas on the Beat in Philly will be pretty fun.
Are we going to rate any cheesesteaks, or what are you thinking about that?
I don't know. It's kind of a quick 2-day experience. So maybe if we have time, I definitely want. You know what? When we covered that game, Chargers Eagles, I forget what year it was, Fernando. That was a game where Mike Williams went off. We didn't really have time to get cheesesteak. So there you go.
We went to the Rocky stairs though.
That was a must for sure. So it's either that or the Rocky, and I chose Rocky.
And remember who went with us?
Dan and Diego.
I know he's like, I thought Philly fans were going to be cursing me out, and they were actually fun and talking crap back to me. Yeah. So definitely,
Dan was so excited about all the history because it's like kind of like where the U.S. got started, and I thought for a second he's going to wear like the wigs like they wear in the 1700s because he's a patriot through and through.
Yeah, that would have been they would have been, oh damn, Compas ain't playing. Nah, Jorge, we aren't. Compas and the cheesesteaks. Jorge always comes up with different names for us, so that's definitely hilarious. You know where I learned this part? On Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I remember they try and get Will cheesesteaks, and he's like, "What is this?" He's like, "A Philadelphia cheesesteak," and he's like, "There's no grease in it." And then Uncle Phil's like, "I'll dispose of them," and he took them away. And then obviously Ice Pick, who was played by Iron Man, the new Iron Man, or what's his name? God, I can't. Not the Iron Man, Iron Patriot, that guy. I can't remember his name right now. But
asking the wrong person.
You know him. Well, whatever.
Don Cheeto or what?
Yeah. Don Cheeto. There you go.
You mean War Machine?
War Machine.
I know that.
Well, he was the Iron Patriot at the beginning.
I don't know the difference, to be honest. I'm like, what the hell?
Whatever. Yeah. Don Cheedo. Yeah. Jorge.
Don Cheeto.
The paper bag's got to be greasy. Exactly. That's exactly what he brought him. One from Ice Pick. He brought him one from Philly, and it had a bunch of grease. So
I think Victor, as a Marvel fan, almost threw his laptop by you messing that up.
I have to say, I was shocked, but guys, I am shocked right now that
I couldn't think about his name. I was
War Machine. Come on, man.
Yeah, whatever. Iron Patriot at first, but that's what.
Weirdo time and the Iron Patriot. Nice.
I remember the ex-wife, that missile that he thought Justin Hammer was going to make for him, and ended up not being.
Not again. Too many details for me.
I know. But again, Ice Tray. Yeah, exactly. But again, thank you guys so much. For the person that commented in the video last time, I hope we did a good job with the comments. People were saying that for the audio people, we don't.
People from Spotify are coming over to watch it on video.
Exactly.
Shout out to you.
we hope we did a good job with the comments, reading them out loud. And again,
you made Hayley do extra work by having her read the comments herself, by the way.
Well, because I didn't know. I thought she was gonna.
She's a pro though. She does it better.
I know
than
she's
me
a pro, and I appreciate. Well, I read the last question, so I mean, at least I did that.
That was a long one too.
Yeah, exactly. So I was able to take that one off her plate. But again, thank you so much. Speaking of Hayley, thank you so much to Hayley Elwood for jumping on with us. We truly appreciate her. Guys, we're being honest. We have a lot of cool guests lined up. If you guys know the term slap dick, hoping to get that individual on the show. Ivan, we go live. This is called Lunes Live with the Compas. So every Lunes we're going to be going live. Some Lunes. Yeah, but Tuesdays we do as well.
We can say for sure Mondays and then some Tuesdays, but not this
Tuesdays
Tuesday.
are gonna vary depending on what our schedule is. So make sure you guys are tuned in and you guys hit the notification button.
Yeah, Monday 4 p.m. Pacific, if that helps, and then whenever we do have time on Tuesday, because Tuesday we're gonna be covering the Canelo presser, it will usually be around the same time. Tuesdays around 4, but mostly Mondays for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Jorge, Hayley was able to read all the comments, not just the one time. Well, she could see them if she was looking, but she was looking more towards the screen. So that one jackass that asked her whatever he asked her, that she was sure she didn't. Hopefully she didn't see that, but yeah, bro was chat was creeping. Yeah, I know.
Respectful for most of you here.
Yeah, so we appreciate everybody who kept it respectful, but hey, nostalgic energy. You can go catch it after we're done with this. Just go back in the live and you can check it out. I think we'll probably clip it out and put it up on Compas on the Beat. So make sure you're ready for that because we will put it out there. So again, thank you to Hayley. Folks, I'm telling you, there might be a guy that used to have a beard who might jump on the show as well. There's a lot of people that we're cooking up for this. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Again, thank you guys so much. But make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. But for the time being, Gilbert, it's time for Monday Night Raw. So sabes que vámonos.
That's true.
I'm 45 minutes late.
We're on the road to WrestleMania, so Fernando has to go. But do us a favor, go to compasonthebeat.com. Go to the middle of the home screen. You'll see the shiny gold box. Put your email in there and subscribe to the Compas on the Beat newsletter. We're on mobile. We're on laptop, whatever. We're still trying to grow the newsletter and the website, but we got to start somewhere. We appreciate the support. That was pretty cool last week to get it going. So where is Dan? No, not today because I had to cancel on him. Dan, if you want Dan to schedule, Dan comes on Tuesdays, but unfortunately, Canelo comes over Dan. So
Jorge, Dan and I may do a Chargers. Oh
yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know if we're gonna do it live. We'll probably just pre-record it, but we may do one later tonight and release it tomorrow morning because the Chargers did make some moves. Because the rest of the week is gonna be way too crazy. It's Wednesday. We'll be out at Caleb Williams Pro Day at USC. So make sure you guys are tuned into that. We'll drop some awesome stuff there. Dirty Dan Tuesday.
Hey, here's a quick promo, and I don't want you guys to keep me long. 2 weeks from now, 2 Tuesdays from now, March 26th is your boy's birthday. We will have Dan on that episode to wish me happy birthday, but just keep it for an hour because I gotta go.
I don't want.
By the way, we're changing his segment to Dirty Dan Tuesday now.
Yeah, I like it. First it was 10 minutes with Dan, but now it's Dirty Dan Tuesday. So 2 weeks from Tuesday, March 26th, we'll have the return of Dan and Diego. It's like we're doing like a promo. He's gonna be in the microphone. It's better than what's it called? Michael Peña Monday. So I like it.
Yeah, no, exactly. But again, thank you guys so much, Gilbert. We'll talk about that day because I think we should leave that and let it be your day. So
an hour for the people.
All right, an hour, but Dirty Dan Tuesdays, nothing but the boots. Hey, everybody's really getting into that. I know you guys miss them. But obviously, Gilbert is it.
Okay, get out of here before he gets off of work or coaching.
Michael Peña Mondays is dope. All right, Gilbert. ¿Sabes qué? Vámonos.
Yeah, subscribe to the newsletter. And again, thank you to Hayley for jumping on the show. And she took my question about Love is Blind. So that was awesome. And Fernando created a new moniker, Weirdo Time. So on Weirdo Time, let's get out of here. On that note, ya nos vamos, pues, vámonos.